Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that I'd already worked with on a previous session, and they had improved their relationship with alcohol. They were no longer, to use their words, crossing the line. They felt more in control, but it wasn't quite perfect. And there were certain things that they knew that if they did, it would improve their relationship with alcohol even more. And there are two predominant theories on the level of change, and you could have what's called revolutionary change. Revolutionary change is quite often where you go cold turkey, it's all or nothing. And if you could stick to that kind of change where everything changes, that could lead to very, very profound life changes. Normally, it's a struggle. But then if you stick with that revolutionary change, you build an identity around that. So in my own situation, coming up to 6 years ago, I made the decision I wasn't going to drink anymore. And I made that decision, and I've stuck to that decision. And it enabled me to find out different ways of being social and relaxing and dealing with problems that had nothing to do with alcohol. So revolutionary change is possible. It's just very difficult. What can be even more, let's say, effective, depending on the type of relationship with alcohol that you want, is known as evolutionary change. And that is where the culmination of lots of small changes lead to dramatic changes over time. And for this particular client, sometimes they would drink pretty quick. So slowing down the drinking is something that they could always choose to do. They can always make the decision and slow down how quickly they drink a drink. Choosing not to mix drinks or take shots, they knew that a lot of the times that their relationship with alcohol went a bit wrong was when spirits was involved or they were mixing drinks. And therefore, having it framed that whenever they choose to celebrate or be around other people doing shots or mixing drinks and they don't, it feels like a win. And another one of the key changes is introducing non-alcoholic drinks into their drinking environment. And what I would say, and kudos to the drinks industry, that when I was 18, 19 years old, very first time I remember regularly going into pubs and bars, I don't recall any non-alcoholic beers or drinks or anything like that. If you wanted a non-alcoholic drink, you had a Pepsi or a Coke or juice, that or water. That was it. These days, there are very good drinks and beers that have zero alcohol. So for some people, that kind of enables them to feel like they're participating and getting some of the things that they may enjoy, like the taste and the experience and the temperature, without the alcohol. So this is framed that the culmination of these little things feel good because it gives them the feeling of being in control. And that over time can lead to a really good relationship with alcohol where they drink every now and then, but they just don't go crazy with drinks. If you're listening to this, I appreciate that you might want to get to a stage where you're not drinking at all, in which case this might not be the ideal one. You can check out other recordings that I've done which are to have no relationship with alcohol. They might be more beneficial. I've got lots of downloads on my website, which is adamcox.co.uk. Or you might benefit from a one-to-one session and we just build it entirely around you. And if that's of interest, then there will be a link in the show notes, or you can check out my website, adamcox.co.uk, where you can schedule that free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. For now, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, calm, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress, worries, or tension to feel that it's leaving your body in that outward breath. As you breathe in, I want you to scan your body, not just for clues of tension, but for any feelings of stress, dissatisfaction, or overthinking. And for many people, overthinking can feel like a voice inside your own head. The kind of voice that you wouldn't tolerate if that same voice was coming from a person in reality. But when it's in your own mind, you believe the words like they're true, and the emotions can reflect those words that quite often can lead to a place of low self-worth, of feeling that things aren't fair, things aren't right. And I want you to try and hear that voice, kind of voice that says, you're not where you want to be. Somehow, you've been cheated out of what is rightfully yours. That things should be way better than they are. And as you hear those words in that tonality, smile. As you realize this is bait on a hook. Because if you feel with low self-worth, then it gives you permission to do things of someone with low self-worth. I want you to get a sense that whenever you hear those words, there'll be a desire to smile. Like a mouse seeing the cheese on the trap. You can see it's there. Know you can eat the cheese, but decide not to. So breathe in a wonderful feeling of confidence, of high self-worth, as you start to think of all of those things you're proud of, all those things that have way exceeded your own expectations. the times where you went above and beyond, as you appreciate just how rosy your life is. And as you feel that way, notice you breathe even deeper, feeling even more relaxed. And I want you to think of a time where you were enjoying an incredible meal. Maybe you can remember a restaurant and the food was just so good. And perhaps you can recall that because you made the evaluation that the food was so good, it became effortless to notice the smell, to appreciate the taste, to enjoy and savor the moment. And what if this is a blueprint about how you get to enjoy living your life in a way where you mindfully enjoy the moment, and the price you pay is worth the price. Someone could eat thousands of calories in biscuits and sweets and chocolate while watching a movie and not appreciating the taste of any of those calories. Or someone could enjoy an incredible meal in a restaurant and enjoy every mouthful. And I want you to entertain the possibility that drinking alcohol is at its best when it's done mindfully. When you make the decision as you what you drink and enjoy the taste and the temperature and all of the feelings that come with it. And that drinking it quickly would be the equivalent of guzzling down an incredible meal. That some things are better to enjoy. So use the power of your imagination to imagine there is an alcoholic drink on that table next to that meal, and that the slower you drink it, the more you enjoy it. And allow this drink to be a hypnotic drink that with every slow taste takes you deeper and deeper relaxed. And as you taste the drink, imagine walking downwards in a spiral staircase, taking you deeper and deeper into the depths of your unconscious mind, the kind of place where change happens effortlessly. There's been at least once in your life that you made a decision in the right circumstances that just changed everything. One decision can have a ripple effect. And what if you were to make a decision that you can improve the quality of your life by being discerning and deliberate with how you drink? And maybe part of that discernment is to start any drinking with a non-alcoholic drink. In fact, I want you to imagine a place that in the past you've drunk too much, going to that very place and maybe ordering a pint or a bottle of non-alcoholic beer. And the more you focus on the taste, the slower you drink in. And the more you enjoy that non-alcoholic drink, the more you are communicating to yourself that you don't need the alcohol. And I wonder if each time you choose a non-alcoholic drink, it feels like a small victory, building your foundation of control and well-being. That every sip of a non-alcoholic beverage gives you a feeling of pride, knowing that you're making a positive, mindful choice. That when you drink slowly, you can appreciate the taste that you would miss if you were drinking quickly. And what if every taste brings you a deep sense of satisfaction, but also the feeling of being in control, which paradoxically could feel better than the taste of the drink. And I wonder what would happen if, on those occasions that you drink, when you take your time to drink, you feel grounded, calm, and fully present in the moment. And just know that you can do this whenever you choose to. Like an aeroplane flying on autopilot. The pilot can always take manual control whenever they choose to. So if you find yourself drinking too fast, you can take manual control and drink slower. That if you feel you're on a trajectory to pass a line that you do not want to cross, you can simply order a pint of water with that next drink, or just a non-alcoholic drink. As you start to feel that you have so many options, that when you savor the taste of each sip, it brings you into the moment. And while you're in that moment, you are in control, with a wonderful feeling of calmness, a sense that you are the master of your destiny and you are the captain of your own ship. And you can feel proud every time you decide to drink slowly. Maybe you can appreciate how it enhances both your enjoyment and your sense of control. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that same restaurant, the same meal. Only this time, I want you to imagine a pint glass. I want you to imagine half the pint is of beer. And then imagine it's topped up with red wine. And then imagine a shot of tequila and a shot of whiskey. And imagine how you would feel if the waiter then had a long spoon and stirred them all, mixed them all together, mixing all of these drinks. And imagine you haven't finished this exquisite meal yet. I want you to try as hard as you can to imagine enjoying this drink of mixed drinks. That when you bring it up to your nose, there's a horrible smell of the curdling of the spirits with the wine, with the beer. As as you attempt to have a taste of it, all of the tastes that on their own might be good now taste unpleasant because they're mixed together. The more you think about mixing this drink and drinking this mixed drink, the less appealing it seems. And if you're unconscious, it feels like it's flipping a switch. That if you're going to drink, you'll drink one type of drink. Let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And sometimes you might be out and about celebrating, and you're offered a shot. And I want you to imagine being in the first person, feeling how easy it is to still enjoy the moment, feel part of the celebration, while refusing the shot and continuing to drink your normal drink. That the shot doesn't need to be drunk to enhance the experience. And whether you continue drinking your own drink or take a shot of water in a shot glass, I want you to feel like you've outsmarted the situation. As you feel that being offered a shot partway through an evening is another one of those chunks of cheese on the mousetrap that looks tempting, but just means that you're seconds away from perhaps a ripple effect to somewhere unpleasant. And each time you pass on mixing drinks, it feels like you've made a choice that supports your strength and vitality. And whenever someone offers you a drink that would be mixing drinks on an evening, just recall that pint of beer and wine and spirits all mixed together and feel that sense of repulsion in your nostrils where it simply isn't desirable. And I wonder if you can find a deep satisfaction in staying mindful and deliberate with your drinking choices. I want you to think about the area of your life that you take pride in being discerning. Maybe the clothes you wear, maybe your taste in music, maybe things that you just have a certain level of knowledge on. And I want you to get a sense that now, choosing what you drink and when you drink activates that feeling of discernment and high self-esteem. That the confidence and pride comes not from what you say yes to, but what you say no to. So allow yourself to celebrate small wins with each mindful decision, knowing that tiny changes do lead to radical improvements, not just in your relationship with alcohol, but in the quality of your life. Over a year, just imagine how many of those lost days you don't lose. How many of those death cycles spiraling into bad habits never happen because you made choices that meant that that chain reaction never created that chain reaction. That if the first domino doesn't fall, then neither does the 7th or the 10th. I want you to feel that you are in control of the early dominoes. And if those early dominoes don't connect, then the later dominoes that could be destructive to your health and happiness don't happen either. And just savoring and experiencing a drink slowly is a way to remain in control of those early dominoes. That it becomes more than just a taste, but every time you do taste, you remind yourself that you're in control. You have this state of balance, and that it is steering your life in a positive direction. As you now associate slow, mindful drinking with a deep sense of pride and accomplishment, that the thought of mixing alcohol now feels repulsive, even unappealing, as you've learned to value your health and sense of well-being more deeply. That whether you drink a whole pint of water or just regularly sip water, it feels like a reward, giving you a sense of refreshment and control, and enabling you to reset whenever you choose. You feel empowered every time you consciously choose to drink mindfully, knowing that these small steps have a ripple effect to profound transformation. And I want you to imagine 1 or 2 years of this type of drinking, 1 or 2 years of not mixing your drinks, of refusing shots, of starting with non-alcoholic drinks and having those regular sips or glasses of water. And I wonder just how good you could imagine your future would be just with these few, small, consistent changes. And if it feels like it would take your life in a positive direction, let me know by nodding your head. And all of these things can be done simply because you choose to do them. You can just feel inspired in a moment. And each time you do it, and it feels like a win, you are increasing the probability that you do it again. And the more you do these small things, the more you manifest this future desirable life. It's now time to return to the present as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.